Hey guys, we've just finished 4 days of big Star Wars news and craziness from Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. Lots of big things came out, including the very popular #1 trending video on YouTube at the moment, the Star Wars Episode 9 teaser. Lots of big things revealed in this trailer, but mainly, let's talk about this one.
Yeah.
I'm Scott.
I'm Ryan.
And today we're going to be talking all about what Palpatine's return may mean to this final film in the Skywalker saga.
Unlimited power! So if you love movies, you love talking about movies, you've come to the right place. Here at Movie Nerds, that's all we do. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a like. And let's get into this.
So obviously, big reveal at the end of the trailer. Kind of a surprise. It was very surprising to me.
Probably the biggest surprise I've probably seen in a Star Wars trailer for a very long time.
Yeah.
Never saw Palpatine ever coming back.
No.
Yeah.
And, you know, at first when I thought about it, like it seemed cheap. But at the same time, now, the more and more I sit with it, I sit with it much more comfortably in that it's the end of 9 films, right? And when you look at it, he's really kind of the big bad. You know, he sets himself up in the first 3, in the middle 3 he's in power.
That's true.
And then he just disappears, right? He's been killed off, and it almost makes so much sense that he's kind of coming back to kind of give that ending.
Or maybe he's been here the whole time.
Well, that's exactly it, right? Because there's so many unexplained things, especially in 7 and 8. Things that, like, as someone who's pretty nerdy about this stuff, First Order just suddenly came out of nowhere, right? And then Snoke has got no background and everything. There's too many coincidences here.
There's always 2, right? So there always had to be, I mean, Snoke would have had to be the apprentice of someone, right?
Yeah, correct.
So who's the apprentice of? It's obviously the Emperor's new apprentice.
Totally.
And then it's continued on from there.
Yeah, and so there's this, well, but like, let's talk about it, Ryan. Like, how do you think he's come back? Or he's still alive the whole time?
If you're gonna go off canon, if you're gonna go what we know about Star Wars, then we already know that when you fall down giant things in spaceships or Cloud City, for instance, or in the Death Stars, that those tunnels lead to somewhere and possibly chutes out of sight of places. So what's to say that he fell down to one of those things, went down a little chute, and then fell out, and then someone in their particular ship picked him up, not the Millennium Falcon
so he
this
was
time.
hanging from the Death Star's weather vane.
Exactly. He could have stopped breathing.
And so what you're saying is Captain Phasma is also probably hanging from a weather vane right now.
It's potential. The point is, it's been shown in another movie that that's actually happened, so why couldn't it happen in this time?
Totally.
Or from what else I'm seeing in this that we know about the trailer is that half of the Death Star is blown up on this particular planet, which is probably likely to be Endor.
That's all the water, man. Oceans, I don't think it is.
Behind. Look, we've only seen this very small crevice of Endor, right?
Yeah.
I'm imagining a lot of plant life like that. It's probably similar to Earth in that sense. Or it's just trees. The entire planet is trees. Like the planet that just has flowers and the bridge planet.
Yeah, that's exactly it. They're all defined by one characteristic because this is Star Wars. There's infinite galaxies, and obviously the Death Star blew up in multiple directions, and I'm pretty sure Endor was wiped out. Like, some pieces just gone flying forever. So it's landed on some other planet. Okay,
well, the point there is, why couldn't it be hidden in that bottom half of the Death Star and just be sitting there for time? You know, he can't get up there. He's stuck under a rock, and that's the reason why he's laughing. He's like, trying to push it off.
Well, he did fall down, like, it wasn't just like a hole, right? It was like a reactor, and it kind of like reacted once he fell into it.
Sure, but why? Like, does he not have some force power that maybe we don't know about? That was the first time we saw force electricity, or dark side electricity, right? So
totally.
Couldn't he have something that we haven't seen yet?
Well, and I think if you take a step back then, right, you talk about in episode 3, obviously the Opera House sequence, Palpatine's all around, like, the power to save lives or whatnot, and him and Anakin are going to discover that together.
That's it.
There's obviously some kind of play there, I think, in the long run around, you know, Darth Plagueis, his boss, or his master, kind of obviously, he, apparently, according to him, like, learnt the power to save lives. Yeah, exactly. So I imagine there's some kind of follow-on to that. And I don't know if he's actually going to be a physical presence or whether we've only ever seen light-sided people become Force ghosts. So maybe he's discovered how to become Force ghost, and that's how he's like live forever kind of take on things.
In the Force Awakens art book, there was actually a Force ghost in the back of that for the dark side, not just a Force ghost for the good side, the dark Force ghost.
Dark Ghost.
Lucas, help us out here. Dark Ghost.
Dark Ghost.
That's it. Anyway, I mean that appeared, right? So there's potential that he could be a Force Ghost.
Yeah.
Or you go the route that they've already shown us in Battlefront 2, where they've got those droid guys with the LED.
Sentinel? I can't remember their names. Yeah, they're like
Daft Punks.
Yeah, they're literally just a robotic body for the Emperor's last message, and I think that's one of the options that you could have.
Darth Sidious. Daft Punk. Darth Sidious.
Yeah.
I'll leave.
All right, guys. Now we're going to talk the real stuff. Now he's gone. No. So there's heaps of options here. I think we're probably. I can't imagine he's going to have a physical presence. Like
he really has to. All right, fair enough. But yeah, no.
I feel like there's going to be either some sort of ghost or some energy, and he's going to be connected to that Death Star. I don't think he's going to be able to free roam. I think it's specifically that point. But I guess what'll be interesting to me is to see how his influence has happened over the last two films, especially with Snoke. I mean, there was such a big uproar about, oh, you didn't explain anything about it, and now he's dead. Well, there's, I think there's opportunity here to kind of talk about that a little bit, which I think will might satisfy some of those people who were kind of disappointed with that aspect of The Last Jedi.
Well, I think if you get, these are the things about these movies that you have, like when we came into the original trilogy, right? We had already seen all three films, right? They weren't getting released they are now. When I came into it, all three films were out. Then once we moved into the prequel trilogy, and Dooku was introduced, right, into the second film. We didn't really get much backstory about him. We knew he set up part of the clones and whatnot that, and then took over the
ex-Jedi.
There's not that much talking about him, yet he gets killed off right at the start of the third film, and people didn't complain about that. But he's one of the biggest, dark side users there is. And
and it's interesting how Star Wars fandom gets really. They want to. I get it, right? I want to read all this backstory. I'm so invested in that universe. I want to discover more. And even though we don't get it in the film, I'm sure there's probably books at some point, and maybe they're waiting for this final film to come out and give some more explanation before they go and explore things. I mean, Dooku's only getting some sort of book right now at this point,
that's right,
explaining his backstory. So I think there's plenty of opportunity.
Which looks amazing. Sorry,
yes, okay. So I think there's plenty of opportunity to explore that. But I think if Palpatine's the one that's been manipulating this thing all along, I think. Yeah, as I mentioned, I think it just brings some finality to it, and it also kind of ties. Part of me was like, well, I really like these new characters, right? But now that Luke and Han are gone, and Leia, will probably have a smaller part. These new characters, they're kind of separate from the bigger story. I think, at this point, other than Kylo Ren, no one has a Skywalker blood, and I mean that's another question, but. They're separate. So, bringing that all together and having those characters face off against this, if Sidious is this final baddie or Palpatine, then I think that kind of just brings some uniformity to the 9 films. And I think that's, as someone who's a massive nerd for continuity and stuff, I think that stuff's really kind of cool just to kind of really round out all 9 films altogether.
That's one thing that Star Wars has done quite well as continuity is. Throughout the 9 films, continuity is pretty strong throughout it compared to other trilogies and whatnot. Continuity in Star Wars is full on.
But I also feel like Episode 3, there's quite a number of things that's just oh crap, we got to do this, and this to match up with Episode 4. So there's some things there that I feel are rushed, but generally speaking, they do a pretty good job. And now that they've kind of rewritten the canon, and now the comics and the games and everything's all canon now, I think they've got even a better grasp of that stuff. So I think there's really exciting potential opportunity here, and I think bringing Sidious back. I think initially I thought it was cheap, but now I'm actually quite happy with it. And as long as he's not a clone or something silly.
Well, that was where I was going to tell you is that I think there's so many things that have been brought up that are in Star Wars canon now. You've got Star Wars Rebels that created pretty much time jumping.
Oh the World Between Worlds.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got the World Between Worlds, and that allows that to break through and him to be able to come back from different parts of the universe. So he could be the version that we saw of Darth Sidious at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
It could be potentially a clone. We know that clones are a thing in Star Wars, so why couldn't it be a clone? And also, the clone was part of the EU, the expanded universe. We could be talking about clones.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is you mentioned Rebels, and that last episode where he does try and convince Ezra to go into the World Between Worlds, and he is in his senator form. He's not all melty face, so he's obviously has a way to be able to project himself as well. So maybe we'll see some kind of changes in that. Or we could just see a big ass Force ghost battle with everyone, all the ghosts out there just lightsabering each other, and
or it could be just J.J. Abrams fucking with us.
yeah, imagine that. Like, we're gonna put his life in, we're gonna take him show up in at the end of the trailer, and like there's just a picture of him.
I'm excited. Yeah. I'm very excited. That has.
And it was
overwhelmed me with excitement.
It was quite a cool reveal at the end of the trailer. Because, like, don't get me wrong, it was a very cool trailer, but it's just that final, like, it's the Chewie we're home kind of moment.
Oh, so much.
Same
but for the dark
side. Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Kind of brought everything back together and kind of really, especially, like, say what you will about 8, but it kind of had a lackluster fanfare. Like, it was very divisive. So I think that kind of just brought everyone back into the camp, and everyone's very excited, and no one cares about Avengers anymore. It's all bring on Star Wars. Bring on December.
Yeah. All right, well, that's what we think is going to happen with the Emperor. We'd love to know what you guys think, so let us know in the comments below. But until next time, I'm Ryan.
I'm Scott.
And if you haven't been here before, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you haven't been here before, you know what to do. We'll see you guys at the movies.
Turn of the very infamous Emperor Palpatine and what that potentially could mean.
So what the hell? Oh, sorry. Do you want to just go from that? Just go from that.